In this video, I'm going to show you some exercises for flexibility and some exercises for mobility. So the first thing I'll show you is just some exercises for flexibility. Again, this was passively where we either are using something or where we are just hanging on tissues, not actively controlling. So the first one that I'm actually going to do is our basic hurdler stretch, where I'm going to get into a hurdle position, and with no contractions, I'm just going to lay into the stretch. And this may be very familiar to a lot of you in flexibility training. You may be less familiar with mobility training. But you're just going to lay into this stretch and you're going to relax, working on regular flexibility. I'm using my hand back here to push myself in this position. Now, if I had removed my hand, I might tip over, I might fall over. I might grab a band and pull myself more forward to work on flexibility. Now, I would do this on both sides to work on flexibility, switch it up. And flexibility is great to work on right before bed or post-exercising. Because we're warm, we're hot post-exercise, our tissues are lengthened, and we can actually begin to rest in those positions. It's also a great thing to do right before bed because it can help us down-regulate our CNS because we're in a relaxed state and help us sleep better at night. So this would be considered flexibility training. Now, actual mobility training would be getting into a position in which we are challenging our own ability to hold a position. For instance, from our first video, I showed you our hip flexion. I can do the same thing where I'm holding, and this would be flexibility training, but now with the aid of something to hold me up, I can remove my hand and using contraction in my hip, work on holding as high as I can. Now you may be able to see I'm shaking as I do this because my body is having to clench as hard as it can to work at end ranges, which is what we want to do to work at end ranges and to create more active mobility. Flexibility is great, as we talked about beforehand, but we've got to be able to control our positions, or we want to be able to get to that state where we can control all of our positions. Again, I'll give you another exercise. As I get on the ground, I might be able to reach as far as I can and touch my toes. That would be flexibility. But in this actual hip flexion position, can I pick my foot up off the ground and have actual mobility control? This is what we're looking to do. Mobility training should be at the beginning of your workout or in the middle of your workout because it should be just as intense as your actual lifting resistance or running. Flexibility should be used in a state where we're relaxed and we're trying to lengthen tissues. We're trying to help the CNS understand that the position that you're in is a relaxed position. Mobility, your CNS is ramped up trying to create new neurons and new synapse connections and understand that you're in a controlled manner or you're in a comfortable position. These are the differences between flexibility and mobility. The key difference, again, flexibility, something that you can get into in a passive state, whether somebody else is putting you in that or you're using an outside external force to get you there and you're relaxed. Mobility is something that you are controlled, you're exploring new ranges, and you're in deep contractions to try to extend those ranges and try to show that you are in control at that position. These are the differences between flexibility and mobility. Please use them with your athletes. Again, they're at different times. We believe that they're equally important, whether it be flexibility or mobility.